Okay.
It must mean that there's something that could be learned from the Titans that is already known by someone.
So without, what do you think the enemy is? Okay, hold on. What?
And we already heard that he possibly has some other story he's not telling.
Yes.
Some other motive, something. Okay.
So without that, the Commander Erwin scene right there, I was like, oh, it's people? I bet they're just people who can't even understand Hanji sympathizing with it and just think they're so disgusting and want to get rid of them. That makes perfect sense to me. That is 100.
It does, but I feel like it's very surface level makes sense.
No, you're right. And but that's what I was like thinking. Like in that instant 100%. Like, and then Erwin says this. It's 100. Like, it has to be people not wanting them to know something. I'm thinking it's like a higher control, the same people who don't want history to get out.
Yeah.
What is there? Okay, we have to go through before we can actually discuss, because I feel like we got so much information.
We learned a lot of like really interesting stuff. I mean, I'm just really still stuck on like how much they weigh and the thin air thing with them Aaron's transformations.
Okay, real quick, need to re-understand. He's a benefit to humanity as soon as possible, talking about Aaron to Mike. Otherwise, we'll have the military police after us again. You're even using that story on me.
So that's not why Erwin wants this to be a success.
There is ulterior motives, but to gain more knowledge, I guess. So use Aaron to go out to see more of the world. I'll tell you when the time comes. Who's Mike?
Well, also, you just said something really interesting with to go out into the new world. All of these people in the Survey Corps probably have been outside the walls.
Oh,
the ones that have survived.
Without a doubt.
And they're older.
That's probably why they're so odd.
They're all interested in knowing more about something. Yeah. They're all interested in putting themselves out there. No one else is interested in, like, leaving their cozy, walled interior.
Yeah, and so... who is Mike to Erwin? Like, we met him last episode, but like...
Mike just might be, you know how Hanji is a captain? Maybe Mike is also a squad leader? Because
obviously it seemed like he had some authority or relationship. I think he's also a
squad leader because he was not with Hanji during Hanji's experiments, and if he was on her squad, he would have been there?
Could it have been... No, he didn't seem like he was, like, against Erwin.
No, it seemed more like they're friends, and he knew him better than that.
They wish the walls refused to allow any changes to them, even for defensive purposes. That's weird. And then
the Wallace don't want anything new. It's like no one wants anything to change, or anyone to know anything, or any new inventions, any change to the walls, any change to the society. It's like the walls are basically like a metaphor for society, like in the Wallist way. Like Wallace don't want anything new to change or touch or affect the walls, and it's like that's like a broader metaphor for the entire like higher up society.
100%. Did they tell you in this episode which Titan was which? I know
this one's the Bean was the 7.
Yeah, and you said
Bean
Sonny
took
was
longer
the 4.
to.
Did they say that in this episode?
They said that Bean took longer to.
Did they identify which was which in this episode?
Yes, I think. Oh, I don't know if they directly said.
Okay.
But it looks like Bean's bigger. Because look how small Sonny is.
This is the bigger one, right? And that's Sonny?
No, that's Bean.
That's Bean?
R.I.P. to Sonny and Bean.
Honestly, kind of?
Interesting with this story about humans eating and killing other humans.
So that's like crazy interesting to me because I don't know. Obviously, she has the knowledge of that story. It doesn't seem like it could be just made up, whatever.
I think it was a before the walls time.
You think?
Period.
Because it said that they were captured and executed, no?
But I guess I haven't gotten a picture of how much traveling is done in this society, because she said there were tons of travelers and they killed over 500.
Well, they lived in the mountains.
They killed over 500 people.
We know there are mountains within some walls. We do know that there are like
forest villages and mountains in there. You're right. It could have happened in this.
It's very interesting,
who else would have executed them? There would have had to be like a ruling's power to execute them.
So they make steaks out of butts. We know butt steak. Awesome.
That's the most important part.
Just
I
like
love
you
that
too.
people are like probably already heard this before, but they're still vomiting over her telling this story.
Yeah. Sonny, Bean. Okay. And Bean's the bigger one. So then we got the whole like knowledge of they tend to shut down as
At
night approaches.
I don't know why I hadn't even like thought to myself that they haven't been showing up at night.
Correct.
But also we haven't seen any night fights.
No, and we haven't seen any of them at night. Do they stand outside of the wall still at night? Or do they retreat?
Like, retreat to like their homes.
So
wherever their homes are.
It's very obvious that it seems that...
They might just sit down.
Maybe. It's very obvious that it seems like the bigger the Titan, the less it, like, I guess,
the more energy it has.
The more energy it has.
Like reserves.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then it seemed like, we had like a scene of them reacting, right?
It was reacting to pain.
Yeah, and then it seemed like...
Like, one was, like, freaking out over pain, and the other one wasn't even reacting.
It seemed like Bean was freaking out over pain, right?
Which, I forget who it was. But during the Battle of Trost episodes, we noted that we weren't seeing pain reactions in the Titans. But then there was one with, like, later on, it was one of the... I don't know if it was Levi.
It was Levi because he stabbed him in the eyes.
Okay. It was, like, during that interaction that we finally saw a Titan actually act like they were in pain.
Yeah.
Because we were seeing them get shot with cannons and having to crawl on the ground.
So would that say, or would that suggest that the bigger the Titan, the more emotion or the more feeling that a Titan could have?
Maybe. The more abnormal or something, the more developed, the more interesting.
The bigger the Titan here is the one who felt more pain, right? Mm-hmm. And the smaller one didn't.
So I feel like if you...
The light-headed thing, they're the...
How light they are. That she literally could kick... You shouldn't be able to kick a head like that,
It was light. Extremely light.
And then we saw her holding one of the arms.
The Titan's body... Something that size shouldn't even be able to stand. Much less walk on 2 feet.
Yeah. That's so true.
That's true of all of them. I once cut off an arm, and it didn't weigh nearly what it should have. And then she mentioned it towards Aaron, right?
Told when you became a Titan, you appeared out of thin air.
So, does that mean a Titan itself, like, while alive, is extremely light? Like, or way lighter than it should be? Or does that only happen when a limb or a part of their body is cut off?
Why have they not experimented with... Well, they could know. They could know how many, like, humans it takes to lift up a body of a Titan when they get, like, a smaller one for an experiment. But maybe they just haven't done that experiment yet. Because you're right. What if it's once you cut something off of them?
Why would they... I don't even think they try to lift up a Titan if they, like, a smaller one. Because the risk of it killing them. Mm-hmm. But I don't know... I don't know if it's when they cut off an appendage or if it's always that way. But then she used that to lead into the... I'm told... When you became a Titan, the body appeared out of thin air. What does that mean?
Air, lightweight, I don't know.
There's the animation we got, right? Of it just just wrapping or appearing, you know?
Question. When things are cut off of the main body, do they disintegrate faster? I mean, Titans disintegrate really, really fast anyway. But is that maybe a part of why they're lighter once they're, like, separated?
Maybe.
Because they're, like, quickly basically turning into nothing.
Why?
They basically just, like, steam into the air, disappear, evaporate, whatever you want to call it. Like, they never existed to begin with except their bones.
So is it like an illusion thing? Here's the line, right? I believe that the Titans we see and the Titans of actuality might be different things altogether.
Is she saying the Titans we see as in what people perceive them as, and then what they actually are is different? Or what do you think she means by that?
I don't know if that's a metaphor or physical, because if I could see both. If it's physical, this statement came directly after the explanation of the weight of the Titans' bodies, right? So, is it some type of illusion?
Like, we see these giant bodies and these giant beings, but is that what they actually are?
Yeah. I don't know what it could be.
Like, some type of puppet suit?
Skeleton
with, like, air and... Like, what if they're just literally filled with steam? And that's how
like
they're
air balloons kind of thing?
Yeah, they're like they're like balloon people.
Then I don't know how deep the illusion would have to be, because like we obviously are able to cut,
and there's blood.
Yeah, we're able to make them bleed, chop off limbs without the whole thing deflating. You know what I mean? I don't know how that would work though. How would there, other than some sort of like magic, like there's nothing that each person...
I don't know if we're going to be able to find, like, an actual rooted in science.
But this is so interesting, no? Because I could see it in this way, like, the physical side of it, or maybe, like you just suggested, maybe it's more of a, they're not as bad as everybody perceives them, or, like, there's more to them,
I don't know if it's, like, they're not as bad, because obviously they're doing horrible bad things. It's just like they're not as one just what they look like.
It's not as shallow of a reasoning, maybe.
Yeah. Like they could just be purely animalistic in some way, and humans are their prey. There could be some weird spiritual reason for it. I'm just shocked by the fact that, like, in my mind, whoever killed the Titans like that would not be people who actually kill Titans. It has to be a higher up military group of people who don't actually face the Titans in their day-to-day life.
Why?
I just have a feeling that a person who actually works to defend this, like, the walls and kill real Titans walking around wouldn't do this.
I feel like they could.
I don't know. It doesn't feel right to me that it would be an actual, like, soldier that's off fighting.
I mean, they know how to use ODM gear.
Because they want hope. Well, they're all taught. All the trainees are taught how to use the gear.
So you're saying it's somebody who's police and not...
I would say either wall or police. Like garrison or police. Yeah. And not someone in the scouts.
I agree with you. I'm not too confident when I say I agree with you, because I don't think we've been given enough info. But, it would make more sense to me if it was somebody who were police or...
Well, yeah, because also the police are directly tied to the people that want to stay in this, like,
correct.
Bubble.
And they're the people who are more higher ups, I guess, in a class way.
They could have even been directed to do so by a actual political leader and not, like, a military leader.
Yeah. That would... Okay, I get what you're saying there.
It makes you wonder, like, okay, so this has this happened before? They're not acting like it's happened before.
Well,
because the last subjects, they accidentally killed in experimentation. But does that mean that if they hadn't accidentally killed them in experimentation, that this same plan would have happened then?
Have things changed?
Have things changed? Is Aaron's new development
causing them to be more...
a reaction in making new plans to make sure nothing is found out
or
about Titans?
This is the old Survey Corps headquarters, right? Was the last experiment...
Is Hanji's experiment being done at the old headquarters too?
I think so. This one?
Yeah.
Maybe? Good question, though.
I think they're just hiding Aaron at the old headquarters.
Okay,
I don't think, like, all of their operations are there. I'm pretty sure it's just Levi's squad.
You're right. But either way, maybe the other experiments that she did were not in the same place. Maybe they were further away where they couldn't get to her. Or the Titans.
Or they could have someone on the inn having a lookout on how the success of the experiment is going. And they're like, if you notice that the Titan lasted more than 2 days or whatever, kill them.
So
it could be something like
that's a really good point, because what if it's something that we just found out too? Like, what the information that we just got of these two Titans, what happened right before they died?
We were finding out how their individual emotional reactions were, and that they have different personalities almost, which humanizes them.
Different personalities, and that their how their energy levels, I guess, work overnight, and their ones are like more, I guess, prone to emotion than the other and pain.
And once you give human emotions, once you give titles of emotions to them and individual personality traits, then a higher up or someone who hates Titans would be worried that you are then humanizing Titans and would be worried that that would sway public opinion of Titans or something. And they don't want it to be known that Titans might have some things that feel human about them.
Yeah, that's true.
Because then there could be a separate religious sect that starts up that says we can't kill Titans. You know?
Yeah.
I could see that happening.
So the people who killed the Titans got away with ODM gear, and it was this person is saying, I think
fast enough that no one saw.
It was a deliberate plan involving 2 or more people. So maybe like a KGB, like a inner group of like higher like political like soldiers.
Well, I don't trust the military police for anything.
I don't either.
I think they're just shady. So, and obviously Erwin even said, "Oh, we don't want the military police being on our backs again," even though that's not what he fully
believes. This is the weirdest part, bro. Like, what do you see? It's like he can't control his emotion here almost. Like, he breaks. What do you think the enemy is?
I like that he says, "What do you
I thought it was going to say who. Yeah.
Because it makes you think that the enemy is an organization or a group of people.
Rather than a person.
Or like maybe even the enemy is an ideal. And it's not actually people. It's like the enemy would be the religion of walls or whatever, but it's not. I'm just saying it's not like a tangible thing. It's more of like a society, a rule, an ideal.
Do you think that's why Erwin made sure to get one of his seemingly most trusted people, being Levi, out of the underground? Like, he was a thug, a famous thug in the underground. Obviously, he doesn't go with the ordeals of like corporate or like the head, you know.
It makes you wonder if Erwin has specifically picked a lot of these people, like Hanji, Mike, Levi.
What do you think the enemy is, bro? Like immediately, my only thought is political leaders, like the people at the top.
That's the first thought you go to.
What didn't we have one scene of people sitting in a castle around a table talking? That was
like episode freaking like
3 or something.
That was more like I would say those were Lord level maybe, because we saw like that guy in the castle playing chess with Commander Dot
I think that's a good, not like saying that those people specifically are who I'm talking about here.
Yeah, but higher than them.
That's a good image that I have in my head of the people who he could be referring to. Like the people who are sitting in a castle somewhere, who are higher than them, who are just sitting around a table, who want to keep their wealth in the way that things are.
Mm-hmm. It makes complete sense that the people in the Scouts would be the weirder, not even really, just more curious, more like open to learning more information, more adaptable.
Well, it seems like the Scouts are, I'm generalizing based off of what Levi said and just Levi alone. It seems like the Scouts are more of connect more with the people who are not as well off in this world. They're the people who are standing up for the little guy in this world. And they're also the same people who are obviously more curious and want answers and are more open-minded.
I mean, they're the ones literally putting their life on the line to fight these things. So of course, any new information, the Scouts are the ones obviously that were more into keeping Eren alive, because they were like, any ounce of hope. We're the ones directly facing these things and going out and trying to retake land and gain things back for humanity. They're the ones that are more open to new ideas, new perspectives, anything that could lead to the betterment of humanity's success and survival.
I wonder why Erwin has the beliefs that he does. Do you think that he's seen something in the outside world? Do you think he's seen something corrupt on the inside of the wall?
He has this energy about him that Pixies did, where it feels like they're wise beyond their years. Like, they know things, but they have this pleasant exterior. And they seem to be kind and caring people, and also very good at their jobs, being a leader of people. But it seems like both of them have this kind of, like, pleasant exterior that's not masking something necessarily, but they have other thoughts or motives or things inside. They've seen things, maybe even. I think they're well aware of the society they live in, and or they're well aware of what the enemy is.
He has solid werewolf energy, bro. Like, honestly, like, if
it's like the second time you've referenced werewolf in a reaction.
I know. But like, because like the Andrew Garfield interviews that got popular, he always said like, I'm not the werewolf. It's a really fun game. And then we play it all the time. But like the way that I say that because the way that he was talking to Mike, like he was so like easily carrying the face and facade of that belief, which I had only thought was his character.
Yep.
And now I'm like, fuck. Obviously, we know how good he and Levi are at that kind of shit based off of last episode talking to Darius Zackley.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were given so much information this episode. It
was mostly a introduction to Hanji episode.
I didn't even acknowledge the fact that we met Petra.
Yeah. Well, it got really actually more introduced to her, other than just kind of... We met her a little bit when we first saw Levi.
Did we?
Yeah, she was the one that Levi was with. Yes.
Okay. I liked getting this info about kills and assists.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
That was bad. I want to write
it's like even if they only had a few kills, they had like 45 assists.
I wonder what dictates an assist.
Must mean that they distracted the Titan for the kill or something.
Did damage, maybe.
Or inflicted some form of damage.
Mm-hmm. I want to get, like, the names down.
I'm not surprised Petra's kills wasn't, like, super high, because it seems like she's more, like, maybe medic.
Yeah. What was you haven't followed all the necessary steps to become my wife. Bro, chill. Petra's cool. I have good vibes about her.
Mm-hmm.
I bragged about the rest of you too. Come on. Survey Corps Special Operations Squad.
Well, this really does count as a special operation, doesn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
Petra Rahl.
Yeah.
Rahl?
Good question. I'm sure we will be told how to pronounce it in the comment section. Titan kills 10. Assists 48. They have a fucking...
I love that we're, like, announcing it, like, their stats. I love it.
Bro, this is so cool.
Okay, the next one should be Olu Bozad.
Caillou. Olu Bozad.
Oluo? Bozad.
Kills 39.
39. He's the one aspiring to be like Levi. We didn't get Levi's stats.
Did we get assists for him?
I don't think we did. Maybe he's not. Maybe they have like these are the main. Like,
assist 9.
Maybe they have like. Oh, they do. I was gonna say maybe there are partnerships.
Okay, we got 2 more. You're right. We did not get Levi. I am scared to know.
Eldo Jin. Love the hairstyle.
I do too. I like his scruff too. How many kills? I was looking at his hair.
Oh, I was looking also at his 14. Hair. Kills 14. I think his assists were in the 40s. 32. Ah, darn it.
This is crazy.
And then Gunther Schultz. That's the name that I wrote down. It's the only one I got because I was like, what? Stats?
So much information.
Kills 7.
Kills 7. Assists 40.
Doesn't it kind of sound like they're partnerships a little bit?
No.
Or do you think there's like distraction they might have like actual sections
like
within
roles.
them where it's like these are the assisters and these are the killers.
Like, yeah, it's like the Eldo, Petra, like Eldo and Gunther are like sentinels. Petra's a healer. Bozad's a duelist.
Well, she's a healer that can also assist.
Healers get assists.
Yeah.
Bozad's KD is nuts, bro. I wonder what Levi's is. Like, you have to wonder, right?
Yeah.
Bozad's trying to, like, simp for him and try to be like, oh, like, I'm gonna act all cool like him, which leads me to believe that his kills are insane. Insane. We got so much information, bro.
We did. I also, like, was super interested in Hanji's feelings of basically having a lot of trouble with the fact that she had to torture these things in order to get scientific information and improve her hypothesis. It was interesting, and they were like, why are you screaming too?
Yeah. It's really interesting, like, how she was saying that, like, she started all of this for, like, out of hate, right? And
what changed her? Oh, what changed her mind was kicking the head,
yeah.
right? Yeah, because she was like, wait, why is this way?
It was doubt.
Questions.
It was questioning and doubt
Which
that
is
changed
what
her
the society
mind.
does not want you to do, is question things.
God, this is so analogous to our life. To our society, to our world.
I mean, doesn't it make you think that if Titans really did show up in the real world, this is probably some of the things that would happen? I think so. I think there would be a religion about the walls. I think a lot of this could be really realistic to human nature.
If Titans showed up in our world, I would think it was the higher-ups who made them.
Like in a lab?
Yeah.
And released them to be able to keep us all as cattle. Like, isn't that what Aaron says? We're all like cattle inside the walls.
I thought it was...
I mean, what if they did? What if in this show they made all these Titans as a way to keep people and like tax money? You know, they're lining their pockets with keeping all these people in this.
I wonder if they have like a getaway then, like a Noah's Ark kind of thing, like a 2012.
So actually, technology is really, really advanced, and the castle that the main leaders are in will blast off into space if the Titans ever get too close.
Love it. Shit, dude. I like how Levi last episode compared Aaron to like a dog, you know, gotta train him. And in a similar way, I guess Hanji
thinks of Titans as
pets,
dogs and pets. Yeah.
But like in a very positive
She was calling them
manner.
Boys.
Yeah. I feel
but they
so
don't. They don't even like.
God, I can't believe there has light.
I want to know more about the sunlight
thing. I mean, it sounds like plants, no? Like photosynthesis. It's like, what do they do when it's dark? Obviously, they're.
I mean, why wouldn't? Does that mean the special operations moves at night?
That would make the most sense. But they would have to be doing it in dark because we have not seen any source of light other than fire, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't seem to have electricity.
So, if that's the case, and I'm pretty sure they're forced to have to move during the day.
Oh shit!
Obviously, even at night, there are some of them that are still moving.
Oh yeah, the bigger ones.
Yeah.
They still have energy and like ample energy. Interesting. What does that mean for Aaron at night in his Titan form? That's another question. Will his body react? I know he's like obviously different, but does he have some similarities in terms of like how he gets energy?
I don't know, but you also just reminded me real quick. I'm so glad we don't forget about this. Aaron knowing.
And not knowing, but not knowing how he knows.
Which is kind of weird to me because it's like, okay, I understand. Like he did it instinctively. Mm-hmm. Like when he bit himself, he did that instinctively. So it was like, oh, okay. That I get for not knowing, but then for him to be surprised about it again, okay. Still can't believe it. They say you turned into a Titan, Aaron.
I think it is really interesting that like none of these people seem afraid of him, too.
I was so desperate I couldn't think, but the trigger is self-inflicted injury. Self-inflicted.
I know, you gotta emphasize that.
He didn't hurt himself when he got bit in the one Titan. And, like, swallowed by him.
Okay, so I know what you're getting at with that, but they also didn't show us him transform. They just showed him reaching up, and then they showed the arm coming out of the mouth.
He didn't even have a hand. Okay, he had one.
Self-inflicted injury doesn't necessarily mean on his hand, right?
He could have bit his tongue for...
Bit his tongue?
Yeah.
Bit, like, his arm, up the upper part of his arm?
You're right. Trigger self-inflicted injury. I take my hand like this. Wait, how do I know this? And then I'm assuming that's from the dad saying... Their memories will guide you or some shit.
I'm like, who?
Yeah, their memories will tell you how to use it. So that is literally something telling him how to activate it, how to use it.
We've quoted that exact line a few times. I feel like it's going to keep coming back that, like, there are things that he says or knows that... Obviously, I think, like, what's really cool about this show is we're following Eren and his friends, but we know basically everything that Eren knows. We don't see really...
We are Eren.
We are Eren, I guess, in this show, because we don't know any information that didn't, like, happen to him. Like, we see some people's side conversations, but we don't get actual information from them. So, like, when you think about, like, Erwin and Mike talking... No actual information or, like, little nuggets of knowledge were given to us that Eren couldn't possibly have already...
We are finding stuff out as Eren does.
Yeah.
Even, like, I was thinking, like, oh, what about when he first came around the corner and hit Mikasa? Eren didn't know he was doing that. Eren had no knowledge of him being a Titan, right? So, like, you're right. We're
either seeing him react to the world or we're hearing his thoughts, and that's helping us learn things as well. Obviously, we get this, like, little information cards, but... He obviously knows those things. He knows how to work ODM gear. He knows what the wall lists are.
Interesting imagery.
Yeah, it is interesting imagery. What's the hole?
What hole?
The hole above the person.
It reminds me of
the
the
wall.
halo.
I was thinking it was like a black hole.
Or a sun.
And like they fell from space. The walls. Because God created them. So what if God was like, and they just appeared?
I see.
But like, it could be more like a Halo reference or something.
This is also interesting.
Everything's circular. And all the walls are women's names.
That's true.
I wonder if they were named after specific people.
That's a great question.
I guess that's information they can't share so far.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. That's all I have for you.
Yeah, I think that's all.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.
I wonder if they were named after specific people. I wonder if they were named after specific people.